Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you would be safe and sound inside your homes. Dear students, the finally JK Bose issued date sheet for class 10th and 12th, and your examinations are being conducted from 10th of November onwards. But the unfortunate part of the story is that you are virtually connected to us, or you are virtually connected to us through digital platform, but some are unfortunate students who are not in possession of these Android phones were badly hit. Their students, the physical mode of teaching where face-to-face interaction is there, can't be substituted for this virtual mode of teaching. But pandemic COVID-19 made schools shut and the government arranged the digital teaching or the virtual teaching. Finally, this virtual mode facilitated a major portion of the students, but some portion of the students remained cut off from this virtual platform because of non-possession of these Android phones. Their students, but finally bold felt it that virtual mode can't be the actual mode of teaching, and there was 40%, there is 40% reduction in your prescribed curriculum, that is the syllabus. And you have to prepare the things for 60% only. And your question paper would be like the previous board questionnaires, 100 marks question paper, and out of 100 you have to attempt only 60, and if you attempt 60 out of 60 you will get proportionately 100. Dear students of class 10th, today we are dealing with light, and from light chapter most questions are asked in the board examinations, and light is chapter is very difficult to teach because normal physics sometimes never answers the properties that are related to light, and we need to go the Einstein physics. Dear students, first of all you need to know what is light. Simply you have to keep in the mind that light is electromagnetic radiation that is detected by human eye, and from the source where it comes is called the source of light. The biggest source of light on the earth is the sun. So your electric bulb, your candle, your other lighting devices are the sources of light. So you have to keep in the mind that light is electromagnetic radiation that is detected by the human eye. And the branch of the physics that deals with the study and behavior of the light is called optics. Dear students, light having three properties associated to it. That when light comes from the source, either it can pass or absorb or can get reflected. So dear students, a beam of a light or a ray of a light that strikes a surface or an object is called the incident light. At the point where it strikes is called the point of incidence. So at the point of incidence, when incident ray strikes it, if we draw perpendicular to that point, the point of incidence, that is called the normal. We draw normal in order to measure the angle of incidence. And some part of a light, when it strikes the surface, bounce back, and this bounce back is called the reflections. Simply you have to keep in the mind when light strikes any surface, it can, the some part of a light can bounce back, and the bouncing back of light is called the reflection. So the first law of reflection is that the incident ray, the normal and the reflected ray lie on the same plane at the point of incidence. So the point of incidence is the point where the incident light strikes the plane surface or an object, and normal is a perpendicular to the point of incidence, by which we measure the angle of incidence as well the angle of reflection. So you have to keep in the mind, when light strikes the surface or any object, some part of light bounces back, and the process is called the reflection. So the incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal lie at the same point, lie at the same plane at the point of incidence, and this is called the first law of reflection. And second law of reflection is that the incident ray and the normal makes an angle that is called the angle of incidence, and we denote that angle with I. So angle I. And similarly normal way, reflected ray makes angle with the normal, and this is called the angle of reflection. So angle I is always equal to angle R. This is the second law of reflection. So dear students, I am repeating the things for you. The branch of the physics that deals with the behavior and the study of light and its interaction with the matter is called the optics. Dear students, light is the chapter which is very difficult to teach in physics, because sometimes normal physics can't answer some properties of the light, and we need to go the Einstein's physics. So light comes from the source, and we have two types of the objects, that are the objects that emit light and objects that reflect light. And when light comes from a source of a light, it travels in a straight line in one medium. So it needs a medium. For light, vacuum is also a medium. For light, vacuum is also a medium. And when light strikes a surface or a plane surface, and that the light that strikes the plane surface is called the incident light, and where it strikes is called the point of incidence. At the point of incidence, if we draw normal for measuring the angle of incidence, and angle of incidence is the angle that incident ray makes with the normal, and when it strikes any surface or plane surface, some part of light bounces back, and process is called the reflection. And the first law is that the incident light or incident ray, reflected light, and the normal lie at the same plane at the point of incidence. And its second law is that angle I is always equal to angle R. That's angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. And light travels in one medium straight, and this property of light is called rectilinear propagation of light. Dear students, this is the simple description of light. Hope you might have grasped the concept. In case of any confusion, you can call me on 7006 or 671106. I am not a science teacher at all. My field of teaching is something different, but being a general line teacher, labeled as general line teacher, I have to deliver for all subjects. So in case of any confusion, you can call me, and better is to study these things from science expert. He can teach far better than me. Dear students, concentrate hard in these days, do extra efforts, and you can crack the coming examinations with nice percentage of marks. My prayers are with you. Thanks. Be blessed.